Jewish leaders in Kentucky are concerned about the alarming rise in anti-Semitic incidents in the Commonwealth. We've covered some of those here in Lexington, from vandalism of a sign at the Chabad house to an alleged assault on that same property. Today, the director of Chabad facilitated a symposium featuring guest speakers and students to educate people on the dangers of this troubling trend. LEX18's Mike Valenti has the story. That's tonight's big story at 11.
A recent report from the Anti-Defamation League found that 19 anti-Semitic incidents were reported in Kentucky in 2020. That's up from 2 reports in the year before. But anti-Semitic sentiment is nothing new. It's pervasive and as old as Judaism itself, says Rabbi Shlomo Litvin, who notes that many anti-Semitic tropes that still exist today have been tied to atrocities in the past.
And from the very beginning, when Nazi Germany rose, they said the reason that Germany as a whole is doing poorly financially, the reason that Germans are suffering, is because the international Jew is responsible for that demise.
The symposium lasted about 3 hours and covered the roots of anti-Semitism and how this form of hate manifests itself in both subtle and overt ways. Speakers noted that oftentimes anti-Semitism can be masqueraded as critiques of Israel, especially when the criticism touches on any of the 3 corners of the anti-Semitism triangle: tropes about blood, money, and conspiracy.
And if they come back and say, I was just criticizing Israel, say, which policies were you criticizing? What specific actions by the government were you criticizing? Because I would be glad to have a conversation about that with you. But what you just said was not criticism, was not valid dissent, had nothing to do with what is actually happening on the ground with Israel-Palestine.
Students who joined the call recounted their own experience with anti-Semitism and shared that they felt like the university has not responded quickly enough at times. Advocates say institutions should be doing more, like adopting the working definition of anti-Semitism developed through the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. But they're also encouraging individuals to do their part.
You will gain a lot of allies along the way if you are brave and if you do have the chutzpah to stand up and to start advocating on behalf of the Jewish people and Israel, because an attack against the Jews is an attack against all of us.
This will not be the last symposium. As the rabbi notes, Judaism has always seen education as the key force in the fight against hatred. In Lexington, Mike Valenti, LEX18 News.